What's poppin', beautiful people? Welcome to the channel. I do not know why my camera is so blurred. Lord, please forgive me. We are doing the best we can with what we got, but we are here to go over 90 Day Fiancé. This is meant to be season 12, episode 4. The episode is titled Forsaking All Others. I do normally do my 90 Day Fiancé videos on Mondays. However, Mrs. Best is in finals, so I did the best I could with what I have. But I am highly appreciative to anybody who is watching now. Also, shout out to our replay gang. I thank you, and you do matter. Also, I want to say welcome to all of our new subscribers and existing subscribers and whoever's watching this video. You can also see the links in the description of this video. There are links to other great creators who also watch or cover this show. And just in general, other great creators like Also Best Who Makes Music, aka the husband. But let's get into 90 Day Fiancé. I am doing this on my lunch break, so bear with me. We're going to start this review discussing Mallory and Rasit. So they're in Turkey. He's getting ready to move to Alabama. And not like Huntsville or anywhere where the schools are, or, you know, the parts of Alabama that we might want to go to. He's literally moving to Alabama with her somewhere that's like the middle of nowhere. So it does kind of concern me. Let me unblur my background, y'all. I'm having all sorts of problems with, that's better. There we go. Now you can see me because it just kept blurring and I'm like, this is stupid. Anywho, back into Mallory and Rasit. They're coming from Turkey over to Alabama so that they can start their 90 days to wed and to be together. I think of all of the couples this season, because no shade, this is not the best season as it relates to casting. I personally feel like they could have done a better job at finding couples. I'm not interested in half of them, and I don't think that half of them will make it. But they are on the way back from Turkey. They have to take a cajillion plane rides. I believe it was 4. They have to fly from where they're at to Istanbul, Turkey. And then from Istanbul, they fly to Paris. And then from Paris, they fly to DC. And then from DC, they go to Huntsville. And then from there, they have like a crazy drive. So I'm like, my God, I'm not accustomed to stuff like that. I'm from the Bay Area, California. I live in Oakland. I've been here my whole life. We have the San Jose airport, the SFO airport, and I have an airport in Oakland. And if I don't want to go to any of those, I can make my way an hour and a half away to the Sacramento airport. Like, we got options. There's also an airport in Santa Rosa. Like, we have options. It's so strange to me that in some places they really do have to go so much further for an airport. But it just makes me appreciate where I'm at. But they eventually get to the US with no problem. She was concerned about him going through customs. I'm not trying to be shady, but Mallory and Rasit, they are a cute couple, but she gives me, she knows that she lives in redneck, maybe a little bit racist, heavy MAGA supported Alabama. And nothing is wrong with that. If that's what you grow up around, that's what you grow up around. I think where something becomes wrong with where she lives is when she's bringing people from like another country into an area where they're pretty much ignorant to anybody that isn't colorless like them. Like, I just feel like Mallory should have prepared Rasit more a little bit for that, but it is what it is. What can we do, right? So they get to the US. He almost broke his back carrying her over out of the airport into the United States. But her friend popped up with a car that was decorated in this text of America. Let me tell you, when I see stuff like this, I'd be so glad that I'm part of Black America, just because American culture kind of sucks. Like, we're known for fat people, like trashy, colorless people. Like, yes, we're a diverse country that's known for like a place you can come and do well, a place you could come and be successful. But when you got to put hot dogs on something, and what did it say? Back-to-back World War champions. Yeah, with the help of our allies. Like, Americans always want to be the best and stuff, and we're really just not. We proved that we're the youngest country, but I digress. They ended up heading to drive out to where she lives, and based on where she lives, as he's driving, he's like seeing, like, okay, it's not so busy, not a lot of people. He started in Huntsville, which is a more populated area in Alabama. But Alabama, like much of the Bible Belt South, has a lot of areas that have small towns, in the sticks, in the cuts. Like they have things like this. So he started to realize he's going further and further away from the civilization that he was expected to be near. And he realizes nothing's around, and she really does live in a small town. He does state that he worries if people are going to accept him, which I think was smart, because let's call a spade a spade. This is a Turkish man. He doesn't speak English well. He is also a person that is different from a lot of what he sees, and other parts of the world are aware of American racism. There's racism everywhere, but only it seems in America or in the colorless heavy countries does it seem that racism is like something you really got to worry about. Like I heard the Italians over in Italy are racist and stuff, but I hear plenty of people go out there that say it's different. I heard that in Japan, when they display racism, they just don't say anything. They don't practice hate. They just refuse to serve you or something. I'd rather that than the stuff they do out here. We got KKKs and all these crazy hate organizations and stuff. So Rashid is realizing where the fuck he's at, and he still seems happy to be with her. He just seems worried about being accepted, it seems, and dealing with some of what comes with living in Alabama. But we learn a little bit, because at first I was like, Mallory and Rashid seem like a great couple. I felt like they're going to do well and stay together for some time. But it turns out that Mallory is not a woman who has interest in kids. She's kind of okay with not having them. I don't blame her. I wouldn't want to have kids in the middle of nowhere where it's difficult to meet people. Separate from that, if Mallory has made it very clear that she's struggling with her own finances, I'm sure adding kids to that might make it a little bit more difficult. So I'm not mad at her for not having kids. I think more women need to get into that personally. Have kids when you find your person and when you can financially afford to figure it out. But she hasn't told Rashid that. He's very traditional. He's Turkish. He believes that he is the leader of his house. He is really anxious to get to work because he wants to take care of his family, but is expecting her to until he can. Separate from the kid thing, what makes it a big deal is that Mallory has not told Rashid that she doesn't want kids. Listen, you don't have to go into deep detail in conversations about kids and stuff when you're just dating, but they're engaged and going to be married in 90 days. So it's like, speed it the fuck up, Mallory. You need to be talking to this man about kids. You need to let him know that you don't really have any goal to have them. She needs to do that at the very least. But we see that he has a problem because while she was away, she had a camera in her house so that she could watch her dogs and stuff. This camera came from her friend Brandon, who she told us about in the last episode. They used to sleep together, but she's keeping him as a friend because when she got in an accident, Brandon was there for her, took care of her dogs, and really took a lot off of her plate. Immediately, Rashid is mad that he's even coming over, but it looks like based on the next episode, they'll give us a lot more. I'm doing the best I can with what I got, you guys. I also apologize because a lot of you are probably going to catch the replay of this. I am recording this live on my lunch break, so it is 12:15 p.m. here in California. I know it's the middle of the workday for a lot of my East Coast subscribers, but I do appreciate everybody who taps in and watches the replay. Lord, what is this camera doing? But we're going to get into Debbie and Mido. Debbie irritates me. Debbie irritates me because I feel like Mido and the way that he is right in her face. And Debbie is old enough to understand and recognize a red flag, but she's choosing to ignore them all. Now, Debbie meets her daughter and Mido meets Debbie's daughter, and they're in the car coming back from the airport. Nobody found his little joke of not telling Debbie that he was coming out there and then making her feel guilty for asking about it because of his sick father. Like, nobody found that funny. And I don't feel like Mido cares. I feel like Mido is using this lady so that he can get to America and have a career out here. Mido gives that foreign person who is buying followers, making it seem like he is what he's not. And we don't have time for that. But they get to her apartment. She's showing him around. She has a 1-bedroom apartment. Her daughter is living with her. So her daughter is sleeping on the couch. And I just felt like Mido's reaction to everything was extremely weird. He seemed almost like displeased and not satisfied with the apartment. And in my head, I'm kind of like, well, what you not satisfied for? Like, you should be grateful. You should absolutely be grateful that you have any form of an apartment. You should. You just should. You just should. But Mido's kind of walking around critiquing the place, and Debbie is telling us in the camera while Mido's walking around trying to figure out if this gonna work for him, if this is the scam that's like meant to be for him. Because I'm kind of looking at Mido like he's scamming people. Debbie is telling us how she has not had sex in over 10 years, hasn't lived with a man in much longer. I forgot about this with Debbie. Mido is supposed to be a virgin. He says it's because of his religion. I'm assuming he's practicing Islam if it's in Egypt. I did grow up in Islam. That is common. You are not supposed to have sex until you are married. You're not supposed to share a bed. A lot of men in Islam be breaking the rules, even overseas. So I feel like Mido is one of them and just doesn't want to have sex with Debbie and is using this as an excuse. But because he is meant to be a virgin, they're not meant to have sex at all. The dogs in the house is haram. Him sharing a bed with the woman is haram. So he decides with Debbie that they're going to build a wall of pillows so that they could sleep in the same bed, but not sleep in the same bed, if that makes sense. And I'm like, what the fuck is this wall, y'all? Like, are we really going to build a wall? Like, if it was really serious and this was something Mido really didn't want to do, I feel like he would have made a pallet on the floor, or Debbie's daughter could have slept in the bed with her mother and Mido could have slept on the couch. That's what I personally feel should have happened. But, they slept with no problem. They wake up the next morning and Debbie was happy, but Mido was talking about how he didn't sleep. He had all of these concerns. And I'm kind of like, my glasses are giving me a headache, y'all. I've had them on all morning in meetings on Teams at work. So I need to take them off. I know I ain't got a lick of nothing on my face, but I have the husband already, so I ain't trying to impress nobody. My camera's also having issues today. I don't know what's going on with it, but we're going to hope it gets better. But in the bed, the next morning they wake up. Debbie was like, I'm so happy to wake up with the man I love and the man of my dreams. Debbie girl, I get it. You're happy to wake up because he's here and not on the phone, but I think it's kind of whack y'all couldn't cuddle. Like, that's a little crazy. She's happy to wake up with him. Mido was talking about how he's tired and he didn't feel like any type of way. She was like, are you happy, honey? Mido said, nope. He said, sure. I don't think Mido is really happy if his response to Debbie is sure. Like, I just genuinely do not feel that way. He shows no excitement for this woman at all. It looked like Mido just liked to play with her. And I don't know much about Debbie, but what I will say about Debbie is she seems like a nice lady who is working hard. She's already got her daughter that she's caring for. Like, she don't need to deal with no BS. And I definitely feel like Mido is coming at her with all sorts of BS. He is definitely coming at her with it. But he then leans over and says to her, what do you have planned for us today? You just got there. You're supposed to be there for the rest of your life. Like, why are you asking her questions in a way that just seem low-key disrespectful? Like, I genuinely do not understand what this man's problem is, but they decide they're going to go out and about. She is like, okay, I can prepare something for us to do in New Orleans. There's a lot to do in New Orleans. Shout out to everybody in NOLA. Love y'all, love New Orleans. Like, shout out to y'all. There's a lot to do in New Orleans. So I'm sure that Debbie could figure out something. She tells him they could go down to the French Quarter and she could show him around. I think that's the best thing you could do first, especially for a tourist. But there's so much more to New Orleans than just the French Quarter. I just want everybody to know that there's so much more to New Orleans than just the French Quarter. But her and Mido go out and they stop at a little cafe and they have a little chat. And Mido is kind of asking Debbie, like, so can we go see Hollywood? I said, I know this motherfucker ain't asking her about Hollywood. They are in Louisiana, the boot-shaped state, okay? Louisiana is not close to any Hollywood. The closest Hollywood to Louisiana might be Hollywood, Florida. That's the closest Hollywood, okay? He's thinking that he could just get in the car and drive to Hollywood, California, which technically you can. Mito, you can, but it's going to take you about 3 days. You're going to need to take rest stops. You might need a hotel. There's a lot. And there's certain areas you don't want to stop at night if you are a person of color, which you are, sir. So I'm looking at Mito and I'm just like, oh, you don't know anything. It's crazy that this man wants to be a star so bad, but doesn't have any idea where Hollywood is. And Debbie still thinks that Mito is a famous Egyptian movie star. If you a famous Egyptian movie star, I'm sure you got some type of connect out here. But the fact that he could not look at a map to understand how far Louisiana was from California, I'll never understand why people travel and don't decide to look at a map to know like where something is at and where it's not. I'll never understand it. But he finds out that Hollywood's not close. And Debbie seems concerned because Mito kept asking all these questions about acting versus being concerned about things such as getting a job, finding employment. Like there are other things that are more important that he should be concerned about than being an actor, because even people from America, like you got people been acting their whole lives and is talented, but can't seem to get past Tubi. You got people like Drew Sidora, whose career's done gone up and then fall down and then go up and then fall down. You know, acting is not a guarantee. It's kind of like coming to America and expecting to become Beyonce status just because you can sing. Like it does not work that way. It doesn't work that way. But they had a good day together. I think it's kind of weird how he wants her to take pictures of him all the time. Mito also gives me somebody that could go either way as it relates to dating. Happy Pride Month. I'm just saying, Mito gives me somebody who could go either way. He's very sassy at times, not in a way that a straight man would be. I'm sorry, that's just my opinion. But after the whole situation with him wanting to see the French Quarter, he finds out that Hollywood's not nearby. His heart gets broken. We then see that he and Debbie are going to be moving. Debbie lives in an apartment complex. Sounds like she has property managers. And she needed a bigger apartment because Mito's living there. Her daughter's sleeping on the couch. They need more space. So they're going to be moving to a 2-bedroom. Debbie, you smart to have not gotten a 3-bedroom, because the last thing this man needs is his own bedroom. Because so far, Mito gives a leech that is taking advantage of the elderly. I'm saying it. Y'all can cancel me. Feel how you feel. That's what it's giving. And they're moving to a bigger apartment. Debbie, you could tell that moving, she's on edge. Listen, when you get to a certain age, you don't want to be moving constantly, okay? So Debbie does seem a little on edge and stressed. She's moving to a bigger apartment. I'm sure she's probably the only one paying the rent. Now, in the moving truck, they did hire movers, but in the moving truck, her and Mito had some type of a disagreement. They got into a little verbal argument. And she tells us that Mito insisted on having a picture of him while driving a moving truck in America. So he wanted a video of her. Debbie says she took a picture instead of a video. She says that this upset Mito so much, they had an argument and now he's not talking to her. Now, what Mito says, his side of the story, is that he asked Debbie to take a picture of him or to take a video of him in the moving truck. Debbie took a picture instead of a video. Mito says he said, Habibi, it's okay. We could redo it. Instead of redoing it, he says that Debbie threw the phone at him and caught an attitude. And they started arguing. I said, oh, she didn't tell us that part. Now, if I mix his story with her story and put the two stories together to figure out what happens, I believe that there was a disagreement on the picture to video. But I do think that Debbie probably caught an attitude. She probably just caught the attitude off camera. Debbie, I think, has been irritated with this man for playing with her about coming to the U.S., about whether he got on that plane or not. And I feel like this is her get back. She does give me that. Listen, she's an older clear lady. I'm positive that she's going to want her get back in some way. But for her to paint herself as just a victim versus we're clashing because we're moving is stressful. Like couples that are strong will argue when moving. 2.5 years ago, 2.5 years ago, me and my husband moved to the apartment I'm in now, and we bickered at each other, and we literally never argue. But if we're moving, we're bickering, okay? Because it's a stressful thing. So I don't understand why Debbie couldn't just paint it as that. Instead, she had to paint him as, oh, he's being a baby. Oh, he's not, talking to me. He's not communicating the way that I would want. Like, I just feel like Debbie is low-key doing a lot, but they are not speaking. We will see what happens more with Debbie and Mito next week, but so far I'm starting to, I don't think that Debbie and Mito will last. I don't want to lie to y'all, but I just do not feel like they're going to last. I don't feel like they're going to make it, but I think 90 Day Fiancé did a terrible job with casting this season. A terrible job with casting. My God, go watch that Worst Roommate Ever show. One of the people they casted on the show is on there and sitting in prison for offing somebody. Like, 90 Day needs to do better. TLC, please do better. Because Debbie and Mito, they're funny, they're great TV, but we know they're not going to last. If they do, I would be so surprised. I would be so surprised. But we are going to move into, I cannot say this girl's name. God bless this child. Ashia and Maxwell are Delulu Christian who speaks in tongues and says that a prophet and the prophetic word of God told her to be with a man in Nigeria. She says she was told this is the person that she was meant to be with. I said, I know this lady is playing with us when she says this. I know she's playing with us. But she says that God told her to be with this man. And I don't think that God told her to be with him. Not much happened. So Ashia and Maxwell cannot be together because his visa was denied because she hooked up her best friend with his best friend. And because the best friends were there together trying to get their K-1 visas to America, the Nigerian government declined that option for them and their application. She was able to pull some strings and get it to where they're like, okay, you could reapply for K-1 visa, but they're probably going to feel how they feel. So the suggestion is for her to apply for a spousal visa, which oddly takes longer than the K-1 visa. I feel like if people have already got married, let them in. And the motherfuckers who ain't been quite married, you know, maybe they should wait. But nonetheless, she goes to meet with her very good friend who she says is a prophet. They are in a park. They are praying. They get to speaking in tongues. They trying to pray for like understanding of what she should do, if she should go to Nigeria to be with him. They get to speaking in tongues and production. Y'all ain't right and God's going to get you. There are some people that really are Pentecostal. My mother is Pentecostal, speaks in tongues when she prays and all of those things. I don't judge her for it, but she's not using it and doing it in front of people for a moment. I feel like production was kind of playing with us. The reason I feel that way is because you saw the birds. They were trying to make it seem like the birds were like a calling to say that God is really there and they need to go to Nigeria. Y'all on bullshit. If you watch the birds and ignore all of the prayer and stuff that's going on, you saw the bread being thrown at the birds to get them to gather and come near Ashia and this lady that was praying. I said, TLC, y'all could have at least done better. Y'all could have edited out the bird bread being thrown, but y'all just don't give a damn in it shows. They just do not care in it shows. But the geese was hawking and squawking and all of that they do. And pretty much she says she's going to go to Nigeria. I'm like, well, no shit. I don't think you needed to pray to God for the answer. You got no choice but to go to Nigeria, baby, because America ain't letting him in and Africa ain't letting him out. Okay? Shame on you to be letting coming on a TV show and playing with us like this, and God, Ashia, because this ain't right. She also said her friend professed that she would end up on this show. Girl, bye. You had to apply, send in a casting video and all sorts of stuff to end up on 90 Day Fiancé. That is a very intentional thing for you to do. Don't sit here and make people think that God called you to be on 90 Day fucking Fiancé. Shame on you. Tell the truth to shame the devil, Ashia, because y'all is playing with the Lord. And I did not like that. It's blasphemy. It's not okay. It's not funny. You don't have to believe in a religion, but at least be respectful of a religion. I am just saying. I am going to go off camera really quick, you guys, because I am on my lunch break and I do have to clock in. However, we do end up seeing Ashia packing. She is going to make a trip to Nigeria. And when she was packing, she was talking to Maxwell on the phone. And I started to notice, okay, this girl might be single for a reason. She's extremely bossy. She was extremely disrespectful. I just did not like the way that she moved, if I'm being entirely honest. I just did not like it. I felt like, why are you telling us that you love this man and that this man is somebody that God sent to you. But then all in the same token, you saying you got to fix his hairline, you want his skin to be better. Like, I'm like, do you like him or not? Because it sounds like she's just trying to find a man, if I'm being entirely honest, that she can control. Because if you really like your man, you shouldn't have to just be changing how he dress and all of these crazy things. Like, it should just be what it is. Lord, ADP is giving me trouble. It should just be what it is. But she's talking about she's going to bring back some skincare products for Maxwell. And I don't know. Maxwell didn't sound very interested on the phone at all with what she's saying. So it kind of made me think, like, Ashia, I don't know what you're doing or how well you truly know this man, but can you stop playing with us? Please, ma'am? I don't understand. Okay, there it goes. I was having issues with the doggone time clock, y'all. My apologies. Let me come back on camera. Let me tell you, I'm on camera with the Hot Mess Express, not a lick of makeup, hair still braided back, but we gonna make it do what it do, because it's the only time I could find to do this damn review. My schedule has been terrible, so I really do appreciate the patience of everybody. It won't be this ghetto on every review. But yeah, not much happened with Ashia, but I can kind of see why she's single. Seems like she has a checklist for men that's unrealistic. It's given chilly when she had that list in that show when she was dating Floyd Mayweather. Like, y'all remember years ago, Chili could not find a man after Usher because she just had all these unrealistic expectations and requirement of a man. That's what Ashia is given. And now she's trying to say God made this one for her, but I digress. I think God's trying to tell you not to do it, and you're just making his message into whatever fits for you. What's poppin'? Also, best, he said, ambassador of Thug Life. Oh, Lord. Oh, thank you. See, I appreciate that. That's why I like my husband. I'm out here raggedy, barefaced. Had to take my glasses off because they were giving me a headache. I've been looking at screens all day. And then our little camera is blurry. This camera I'm using, it just will not like focus. Anywho, but I appreciate the compliment. Y'all check out Also Best link. It is in the description of this video. He makes music, actual good music. Some of it sounds like it's from the Bay. Some of it might help you through a prayer. And other songs were inspired by me, you know? Check out his music. You might catch a song with me on it. Just a song, because I am not an artist. And I'm going to let everybody know that I am not an artist. I just do artistic shit sometimes. But we're going to move on from Ashia and Maxwell into the next couple, which is Paola and Thomas. We were introduced to them in the last episode. They're a newer couple. She's from Sao Paulo, Brazil. He's from Los Angeles. They are making it work. If I were her, I would have had him move to Brazil. Why does she have to move to America? She had a business, a beautiful apartment. It looks like she had a great life in Brazil. Like, I feel like they should have done 90 Day the other way and he should have went to her. But I digress. He and her have left the airport and they are in a good place. But when she thanks the universe, it seems to really trigger Thomas. He's like, "Her thanking the universe, but I'm the one that did this." It's like, okay, well, do you want a fucking award for doing what men do? You loaded her bags into a car. She's left her life, her business, her apartment to move to a country to be with you. All you got to do is pick her up from LAX and love on her. You get some free coochie. You'll probably get a vegan meal here and there. Like, why does she need to thank you over the universe? Like, I don't get that. I don't get that. I don't get that. That'd be like if every time I got a job, I'm like, "Oh, thank you, Also Best, for supporting me through school. It was all you." Like, fuck that. Why does she have to thank him for every little thing that he does? I just kind of feel like it's giving insecure. But she gets to his apartment and she's severely disappointed. She's somebody that is flamboyant in how she decorates. She wants to express herself. She needs to put her tiny things up. And honestly, some of her expectations are not unrealistic. Like, I wouldn't want to eat at a tiny table either. I just wouldn't. I just would not. But I think he's crazy to expect a woman to get down on her knees. When you're past 30, okay? Past 30 over here, that's me. your knees don't work the same. Okay. I used to be able to drop it low and stilettos, pumps, and all of that in somebody's club and keep it low and drop it up and bring it back down again and do it some more. I can't do that shit no more without pain. Okay. I always regret it the next morning, and we got to put an icy hot over the knee. So for this man to expect a woman to get down on her knees just to eat a meal, he's fucking tripping. You could be a minimalist and also have a large table. Like, I'm not understanding. And you're just two people. Get one of the taller little circular tables with some bar stools. Like, figure it out. But I do think the expectation of the table is a little strange. But she looks at the closet space. It's very clear that American board, please. Why is that the intro? Why is that how you come in here? That's why I love American board. Welcome in and hello to you. I'm hella late with this review. I'm doing it on my lunch break, but better late than never. And then I'm also having camera issues. My camera keeps blurring me and then making me clear and then blurring me and then making me clear, child. Not you would fall down. Listen, our knees don't work the same anymore. They do not. And I agree with this. I had said this earlier in the review. I'm not sure if you were here. I feel like Midel is giving someone that wants to date men, but he probably needed a way to the US. He's from a country where being gay is not safe. Like, it's not safe. It's very difficult, I think, to be gay, honestly, in all countries, just because it's something all societies, regardless of culture, kind of teach people to go against. However, definitely in Muslim areas, I would say it's definitely not safe, like not even a little bit, to be gay. But Midel does give that. I mean, the way he posed in that picture on the poll, I was like, what? What we doing? What we doing? But Debbie is a fool to not be able to see that with Midel. Just saying. American Board said, I am 60 this year. That's a blessing. When? Happy birthday. Belated or early? Because I might have missed it, but I might be too early. But I love that. I'm 60 this year and I could barely go down the stairs. It seems like someone told me that. I think it was my grandmother told me that. She was like, oh, enjoy your youth while you can, baby. Because as soon as you over 30, she said, everything gonna go to shit. She said, your head, shoulders, knees, and toes. I said, what? Who says that? My grandmother. Shout out to my nana. Lord. Yeah. She said, at least Debbie is starting to see the light. Yeah, I think Debbie is seeing the light. I think Debbie is just ignoring it because she's been alone for so long and has invested a lot. But it's like, lady, move it along. Please move it along. Please move it along. September. I love that. I will definitely, in September, I will be out of town, but I'm going to make time to wish you a happy birthday. I love that. That's a great birthday. My brother's birthday's in September, the brother I'm closest to. I love a Virgo or a Libra. I believe those are September people, Virgos and Libras. I love them both. Paola and Thomas are just the hot mess express. They're not really interesting to me. They give me, I don't know what's going to happen with them. I do like that I can't predict if they're going to last or not, but they're not that interesting to me, if I'm being entirely honest. Something about them bores me. I wish she didn't move. And she had an issue with this man cooking meat and not making closet space. She gave him 7 days to make space for her in the house. Because he is kind of coming off as, this is how my shit is. You're going to have to adjust. Versus, I'm so glad you're here. Let me know what I can move. I didn't really do much. Maybe we could redecorate together. And I'm just like, why did you not do this, Thomas? You knew she was coming. You knew she's particular. Why would you not prepare? But also, I feel like Paola's crazy. Just because you're vegan, you can't expect him to be either. I get the having separate pots and stuff. But like, my father is vegan. His current wife is not. They live together just fine. Like, just because you don't eat meat doesn't mean you have to force the rest of us to not eat meat. And I also found it weird that Thomas had like a dehydrator or something for meat. I'm like, he must really love meat. Like, there's people like me who eat meat. Just, I eat it sometimes. And then there's people like Thomas who are like really into meat. Cooking steaks probably at every perfection, like dehydrating his meat before he cooks it. The most I'll do is marinate some shit. And of course we clean our stuff as Black people, but he's really into meat. American Born 2 said my 40s were my people keep telling me that your 40s you will love. I hope they're right because my 30s have not been bad, but I do feel like my 30s are so much better than my 20s. In my 20s, I was confused. In my 30s, I feel like I'm not confused anymore and know who I am, but I also feel like I'm not where I should be for my age. I don't know. I'll figure it out. So I'm hoping the 40s gets better. My brother's birthday is September the 20th. September the 20th. American Born said that minimalist guy, no ma'am. I don't even, can you be a minimalist when it seems like he's not. He just buys what he wants. And if he doesn't want it or see value in it, he doesn't. I don't think he's a minimalist. I just feel like he's specific and stuff. And I agree with this comment. Paola's way too picky, but she has her own business and stuff. I feel like they would have worked out better if he would have came to Brazil, but I don't think he wants to go to Brazil because, as Americans, they like to tell us that everywhere else in the world is unsafe or uninhabitable or don't have a better quality of life. And that's bullshit. They just want us to stay. I'm the 23rd. Oh, wow. My sister is the 24th and my brother was the 12th. A bunch of September babies. My goodness. Say, do you remember? Y'all are dancing in September all up and through the month, quite literally. That's a lot. See, I love that. I love that. I'm pretty much the only Gemini in my family. I don't really know any other Geminis, but a lot of people in my family are like summer babies, August, September. And then there's me, or winter. I was just randomly born in May. That's why the people don't know what to do with me. American Born said, absolutely, she should have stayed in Brazil. She had a business. Like, girl, why? I'm not leaving my business for nobody. I would have said, you're going to have to show me you love me, sir, and move your ass across the world. Plus, the food is better. I would have moved. The last people we're going to discuss is going to be Shay. You said my father was in the military, came home for Christmas. Oh, so you didn't have to move around. Your father just kept y'all in like one house and would just come home for the holidays or when available. If that's what you mean, that is something that I feel like a lot of people did. My grandfather was in the military. He wasn't the most participatory parent, but he did come home to his other wife or something, I believe, like once a year or something. I feel like that's better if you're going to do it. There's a YouTuber who is the daughter of military parents, Alicia TV, Black Girls Den podcast. She speaks a lot on her channel about growing up as a military child, the experience and stuff. So I got to learn a lot from that. But I always learn like kids of military parents have a totally different life from other people. American Born said, we stayed here. My mother had a good job and my dad did the moving around, not us. Hey, that's kind of a smart setup. And shout out to your mom. I love an independent woman. She said, I get my own job. I ain't about to be moving all over the place. Shout out to your mom. I love that. That's actually brilliant. Because why should the kids have to move around and not get, stability? So that's a great thing. And your dad still found a way to visit. Honestly, y'all might be the blueprint. I'm sure it wasn't perfect, but y'all might be the blueprint for at least getting some type of order to it. I actually like hearing stuff like that. Your life sounds interesting. I would read your book over Dorit's Unburdened if you are a Beverly Hills fan. Oh, Lord. And I don't know what I'm doing with Beverly Hills next season, y'all. I'll probably still cover it, but I'm probably not. I don't know what I'm going to do for Beverly Hills next season because they drained me this season. But we're going to discuss the final couple, which is Shay and Annabelle, a.k.a. our nasty country redneck Santa Claus. He has Annabelle there. He wants to give her breakfast in bed. Listen, Shay, I don't think you have to understand. I don't want breakfast in bed with some mules and deers on the wall looking at me. Like, he's going to have to redecorate his bedroom. You could tell that Shay's been alone for a very long time. Also, I understand Anna's moved here, but I feel like if you're going to get with someone from another country, right? Embrace their culture. My sister's dating a Caucasian man. He comes to family events. We talk about Black history around him. He's shown up to some Black history events. Super cool dude, embraces our culture. But in the same token, my sister goes to Arizona a lot and will be visiting Sweden, because that's where his father lives and his family is from. If you're going to date somebody from a different cultural background than you, I think you should embrace the culture however you can. If not by traveling, maybe take one of those deer head off the wall and put up like a flag from the Philippines or a picture of where she's from. Like, do something to make her comfortable. I just felt like Thomas and Shay can definitely do a lot more to make their spouses comfortable now that they're there. Just Hot Mess Express. Let me see the comments. Your life, absolutely. I dated a woman from Paduk. You dated women and men? I'm curious now. I'm very curious. She was nuts. Not she was nuts. Really? I've been saying or seeing people online, like in the comments of like the 90-day vlogs and stuff, the TLC world, just on social media. Like I'm a comment person. I'm always lurking, reading comments. But I've seen people saying who are from Kentucky, they're like, we don't claim him. The place that he's from, the people there are crazy. So I've been seeing a lot to support this statement about people from Peru. I don't know anything about Middle America, Kentucky. I don't know nothing about it. And you say he's a typical redneck. Okay. See, in California, people think that California is like liberal, everyone gets freedom, equality. No, there are sundown towns here. There are several places here that we don't go, and it's very segregated. Pretty much the Bay Area, the Los Angeles metro area, and the valleys near them are diverse. The rest of California is segregated as hell. So we hear of rednecks in places like Redding. We hear of rednecks in places like Lodi outside of Stockton. But we don't really have to see or interact with them. So I can't really say I fully know what a redneck is. I can't. But Shay does give that. So thank you for confirming my thoughts. Oh, amazing. Sweden is, yes, I really want to go to Sweden. It is beautiful. I also love their laws. I love their laws out there. I if I could find another country to be, I would. But I love Sweden. My husband has a friend, shout out to Avolder, who is also an independent artist that he does music with, who lives and is from Sweden. Very cool dude, very kind people. I don't know what it is, but whenever I meet people from other countries, if we like build a friendship or a bond, they really embrace you in a way that like feels more genuine than America. No shade. No shade. They just do. They take friendship way more seriously, it seems. I only dated one man in my life. The rest were women. Did that one man do you wrong? Do we need to pull up with some tents and a Prius so they don't hear us pulling up? What we got to do? What we got to do? That's interesting, though. That's interesting. James has dated, I think, more women than men. James, I usually do lives with him, but he has been enjoying men. Let's see. American Board 2 said, if I had ever moved, it would have been to Sweden. I love the culture there. Yeah. And I heard they have really good culinary, like, what do you call it? Skills, expectation, culinary scene. Apparently they're really big on food. All I know about Sweden, if I'm being honest, outside of what my husband's friend and my, I hope soon to be brother-in-law tells me, outside of that is really just IKEA, because I do enjoy the food at IKEA and shopping there. And I'm weird. I greet the staff, hedge. I'm weird. But Shay gives her breakfast in bed, and Annabelle is struggling with breakfast in bed because it is not something she's used to as it relates to her culture. She doesn't know what to do with this concept. And so she eventually gets up. She says she don't want ants to get to the bed, which is actually a smart reason to not eat in the room. But they go on a drive. He's taking her to a bar. And I'm like, why the fuck you got to drive so far for a bar? It looked like they were driving and driving and driving and driving. And in my head, I'm just like, this is taking a really long time. But she was getting annoyed because she's like, her English is not good. And Shay would not shut up. I was cracking up. He was telling her that ditch over there, you know, back in 1947, it flooded. What the fuck does she care? Okay. She's telling you her English is not good and she's struggling to understand what you're saying. You probably do better spelling out flood for her than you are telling her about a flood that happened when she was not there. She don't care. She doesn't care. Tell her where she is going. Tell her something, but anything but that. Shay just gets to talking and could not shut up. And they get to the bar and she learns that she's going to meet some of his friends, which I think is a good thing. It's important. However, his friends was saying that they thought that she would end up being a mail order bride. I said, the audacity of these white people. You do not say that to people. That is insulting. That, my friends, is what we call a microaggression. This time it's not against the normal suspect that white people like to come against in America, though. This time it's against a Filipino woman. You cannot say or suggest to her that y'all thought she was a mail order bride. Some shit you keep to yourself, and that's one of the things that you keep to yourself. It's not okay. You can't just say whatever the hell you want. As quiet as kept. But after saying they thought she was a mail order bride, they then explain how they have known Shay to be single for 4 years, so they're happy to see him. And I'm looking like, are you cock blocking on your friend? Like, you're literally impacting his situation for the worse. They're lucky Annabelle, one, don't understand English as well as she could. And two, they're lucky she handled it with grace, because she was like, I'm here to love your friend forever. And that's why I say, like, we have a huge Filipino population here in the Bay Area, the largest in America, actually. And they are the kindest people. I love the culture. I love the food. I love the people. And I can't say it enough. My best friend is Filipino. Shout out, Nevin. I just like, that's so fucking rude. Like, you don't say that. It's rude against Anna and her culture. And it's also rude to Shay, because you putting your friend in a pickle. Like, don't do that. But his friend leaves and gives her this fake ass hug. I love you. I'm glad you're here. Take your ass out this bar and go somewhere. And make sure somebody else drives. Lord, I just can't understand it. And when the friends leave, Shay decides he wants to talk to Anna. And Anna's looking like she want to go. She's like, okay, are you going to finish your beer? And he's like, we're going to go in a minute, baby. But, my ex-wife Nicole's going to want to talk to you now. And Anna was so quick. She said, I don't want to talk to her. I said, damn, you called his daughter a spoiled brat. She was, and she is. But I say, you don't want to talk about or with his daughter. You think she's a spoiled brat. And now you don't want to talk to the ex-wife either, who he is still raising a minor child with, who's going to be in your house that you share. I'm just like, what? So he explains she wants to talk. And then he tells her that Nicole wants to talk to her because Nicole believes that Shay be cheating on Anna. And Nicole wants to tell Anna how Shay cheated on her. And we have to remember that Shay is allegedly cheating with his best friend's daughter. If my dad's friends ever tried to date me, I feel like my dad would like come after them. Like, I wouldn't even tell my dad. We would have to be in hiding. Like, I don't think they would do that. My father is, how old is my dad now? Oh God. He was born in 1960, 60, 80, 90. Oh shit. My dad's 64 now. Oh damn. Anyhow, I would not date any of my dad's friends, but I think if they were to try, OG Savior from back in the day might come out the woodwork and come after their ass. So I don't know why anybody would want to do that, especially as a parent. I think that's weird for Shay. But Anna gets pissed off because he tells her that, what happened with the other lady. And Anna is like, so you cheated on me. He's like, well, no, baby, I don't think it's cheating. Wigga, you cheated. Like, you did. You did. I hate when men do this. You know exactly what the fuck it means to be faithful and what it means to not be faithful. You know how I know these men know? Because the moment they get cheated on, they are in shambles. Okay? Don't act like you can't understand the concept when it's you doing it to somebody else. But when it's something happening to you, you can understand. Shay ain't shit but a slice of cheese without the corners. Shay is a fuckboy that just never grew up. And you know what baffles me looking at this comment? It's like, what? You cheated? Who's wanting you? Like, the bar must be low and the options must be linear as hell in Kentucky. There's no way there's nobody else in Kentucky. Like, I don't understand it. I don't understand it. American Board said, no, it was a different time. I was raised Catholic, so I tried to not make myself gay. It didn't work. Of course it didn't work. Humans like what they like. I'm almost done with my master's degree in psychology, learning about humans and all these things. LGBTQ is included in the curriculum for us now. And essentially what I've learned, like, people like what they like. You know, I know religion hates to hear that, but it's the truth. American Born said he could have hired a cleaner to come in before she got that tub. That tub was nasty. Like, what is coming off of you? We clean our tub twice a week. My husband does it for me. He's really into cleaning the tub. I don't know why. He's got like an automatic tub thing that like extends and like it moves the scrubber, almost like an electric toothbrush before a tub. I don't know why he's not cleaning that tub. She shouldn't be having to get down on her hands and knees to scrub. But I do worry that Anna feels like, because of cultural differences, like she has to do all of these like housework type of things to appease him. And I just wish she'd see like Shay ain't shit. Please, Anna, figure out how this man is and go back home. I just hate Shay for her. He must have driven slow. That town isn't that big. It looked like they were driving forever, but it could have just been that he didn't shut up. He was, I'm like, there's no way this town has that much history and nobody outside of the US is hearing about it. Like, please, Shay, please, please. His friends were hella rude. He should have checked his friends. Like, hey, why would you say that in front of her? So that let me know how Shay might think about her too. Because any ordinary person would have checked the friend. They would have. Now, I did work with a lady from the Philippines who was a mail order bride. I'm not going to lie. Oh, no, it happens. It is common. I think they actually did a series of that on, not TLC, what's the other ratchet network? A&E. I'm pretty sure they did like a reality show about that somewhere on mail order brides. And unfortunately, a lot of them do come from the Philippines and China, oddly. So it happens. It does happen. But this lady is not one. Like, she's on 90 Day Fiancé. Act accordingly, y'all. Annabelle does need to move on. It's just a waste. Shay is a waste. It's a waste. I agree. My father would have buried them. Right. What man wants his friends dating his daughter or his sons? Like, what are we doing? It's weird. It's weird. He definitely cheated and he gonna have to pay. Yeah, Annabelle was pissed. And I think Shay is thinking in his head, she's not American. I could get away with it. No, a Filipino woman will cuss you out just as good, if not better, than an American. Okay, don't sleep on other women from other cultures. Okay, you would be surprised how many women are just as feisty as the publicly known Black woman. Okay, you would be surprised. Don't sleep on women. Any woman of any culture will cuss you out real good if you make them mad about enough. I'm just saying. I always use Maleficent, that Disney movie, as an example. That bitch went crazy because she was a woman scorned. What they say, hell hath no fury, like a woman that's been scorned, or however the saying go. I'm trying to tell you that's exactly how it is. But that was it, you guys, for 90 Day Fiancé. It is 1 o'clock, so I do need to clock back in and go to work. But I am going to try and get more lives out there because people have been saying they do prefer the lives because y'all can engage. Even if it's just one person here to engage, I appreciate you. Shout out to the replay gang. Beautiful humans and thugs and spirits. I do appreciate everybody who's watching this video when I'm no longer live. Next week, I will be live on Monday for this show, not on Tuesday. I am in finals. I had like a 50 question final yesterday. I am still working on an 11-page paper. So that is why my schedule is a little off. But other than that, oh, happy Pride. It is Pride Month. I did put up a post on the community tab, but it is Pride. Happy Pride Month. Please be safe if you are going out to any parades and stuff, which usually happen later in the month. But if you see somebody or know somebody who is of the LGBTQIA plus community, give them a smile, give them a hug, let them know they are loved and supported. But other than that, y'all, let me know your opinions in the comments. Let me get the comments before I get out of here. Hate to say it, probably rush. You probably not lying, American Born. You probably not lying. I'll be watching, and good luck with your finals. Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know why I'm paying for college to be stressed out, but at least I'm almost done. But love and light to all of y'all. I hope you guys have an amazing Tuesday. I will have more videos up today. We're going to get the Shy out. There's also going to be 90 Day The Last Resort in a couple of hours. I am covering that as well. And I believe a Nemesis review will also be going up today. So love and light, everybody. Happy Tuesday. And I will see y'all for the next review. Au revoir.